make some announcements probably very soon, in a few days. In a few days.
But it's correct to say that we can expect 2 new teams?
Yes, I mean we are fairly confident that we're going to have 7 boats, which is 3 more teams than we have announced today. So exactly when the last 2 teams will be a little bit later, but not so far away. So I'm very confident about that, and we have still a lot more teams we are working with than we have boats. So that's a good sign. Within a couple of weeks now we will have more boats announced, and I'm pleased with that.
One of them would be Team New Zealand?
Well, Team New Zealand is one of the teams we are working with, but Team New Zealand is not the most progressed one of the ones we're working with. There are others who are further progressed. The benefit for Team New Zealand is obviously that they have a good network, and they can make things happen quickly if they need to. But the first team we are going to announce is not Team New Zealand. The girls are obviously with the Team SEA are the ones who have sailed the most miles, and Team Dongfeng did not have many days of sailing before they actually shipped their boat to China, and they are starting now very soon in China. But the feedback we have in general is very positive. Always some teething problems that we discovered in the beginning, but nothing major, just really small things. That we were able to also optimize on all the boats. So if we see something that is not working, we can change it on all the boats, and it has been very, very little. So in general, the girls have sailed a lot of miles. They have sailed more than 10,000 miles with the boat already, without any significant issues, which is great. And the feedback they have given us is that they like the boat. They really like the boat. Even the sailors who sailed the last Volvo Ocean Race and sailed both with the training boat, they have a Puma and the new one. They say that they really find a new boat, strong, handles really well, and maneuvers well. For the girls, it's slightly easier to sail.
Do you think that the Team SCA, the girls, can win the Volvo Ocean Race against the men? I
think they can. I mean, I think it's very difficult for me to know how much they have managed to achieve in their training. So I think until we see them racing and see them closer to the start, it's difficult to know. But they have had a fantastic preparation period. They have had good coaches, a very good program, more hours than anybody. So I think they have a chance to be very fast. The question is also to go the right way and to make all the right decisions. And some of these things you can practice and train. And some of these things comes with a lot of experience. So I think for me the challenge when you have less experience is always going to be in your decision making. At least this is my personal experience, is that when I was a skipper the first time in this race, even though I had sailed one race before, where you need to rely on experience is where you want to make the right decisions. So if you have been there before, made a decision before in exactly a similar situation, you will very quickly make the right call. So that is going to be the most interesting for me to see how they perform there. But I think one thing I'm 100% confident about is that there has never been a female team in sailing that has had a better program. And
so the World Volvo Ocean Race is still the pinnacle in ocean sailing for sailors? What do you think?
No, I think what is really interesting for me is I have a feeling that there's more people who wants to do it now than last race. And I think what we are seeing is a bit of a generation change, that these teams are starting to open up more for younger sailors, more for new sailors. The Team Dongfeng is obviously a good example, but it's clearly a place where you open up the boat for a new world a lot more. And that's really, really positive news for us, because I think there is a generation change happening in sailing now, in offshore sailing in particular, and now it's opening up, and a lot of new sailors wants to do it, and they see an opportunity, because people are not going to apply unless they see an opportunity. And both Team Dongfeng and Team Brunel has kind of opened up their recruitment, by going public and says, hey, do you want to do the race? Come and see me, or call me, or write to me. And this has not happened so much before. In the last race, I cannot really remember that any team did that. And now we've had 2 teams who've done it. And I think we will have more teams doing it. Our plan is that these boats are going to be used for 2 races competitively.
Okay.
So
So you don't change anything, only the sails, of course.
Yeah. So the only thing that we are working on, that we haven't made all the decisions on yet, is if we build more boats, how do we calibrate the old and the new boats to make sure, one way or the other, that there is no advantage to buy a new boat, because if it becomes an advantage, then,
yeah, change
then it change in a difficult way. I think the next one is going to be closer than ever before. I mean, it was close last race, but it was still a pretty big speed difference between the boats, you know. And some of the closeness in the Volvo Ocean Race in the last racing came also from the fact that when they are similar speed and very good sailors, they know they don't have to win with 2 days. It's enough to win with 1 minute. So when they get closer to land, they start to sail conservatively to position themselves in front, and then automatically the fleet converge when you get to the finish line, and you get very close finishes. Yes. Even though halfway in the race the gap were maybe bigger. And also it has to do with the wind conditions changing when you get close to the land. So I think that with the new boats being pretty much the same speed, or much closer in speed, I think there's a chance that we will see a different tactic on the racetrack, because there's no doubt that in the past races it has always been to be the fastest out of the starting block here in Alicante. And if you are really fast and you manage to develop a speed performance gain like Groupama had in the last race, you can sail more conservatively.
Yes.
Because in fact you don't have to go for the big gain, you can just position yourself in between. I think that we will see a different mentality. I think the boats are going to be tough for the 8 men who are going to be in the male crews. Because
it's hard to think for us only 8 men to sail a 65
yes.
one design boat, Ocean one design boat.
Yes.
It will be very hard, I think, no?
No, I think it's going to be very tough. Physically, it's going to be really tough. You know, we have worked very hard on that number with the sailors involved, discussed how many people we can be, and we had to make some changes to the boat to be able to sail it with 8 people. So there's more furling sails, there's more automatic, there's no overlapping genoa, so there are things to make it simpler, but it's still a very big and powerful boat with a lot of power. So I think it's going to be physically a very hard race for the crew.
We have to expect the same average speed of the last boat or not?
I mean, it's difficult to say, because the numbers we have on the new boat are still very early in the phase, you know. So it's only when you really get to racing numbers you start to see the full performance, and very often they are quite different, racing numbers and training numbers and theoretical numbers. But our plan is for a boat that is having a lower average speed than the Volvo 70, but in some conditions being the same speed or even faster. So typically it's going to be a very fast downwind boat, and especially reaching on open angles. But for sure upwind in the medium conditions, when the Volvo Open 70 had its big Genoa, now they have to go from the code 0 upwind to the smaller jib. So it's a bigger gap there, and they have to make some decisions. And most likely they're not going to sail in the same window as they had the 70. So in general, I think it's going to be a fast boat, not as fast on average speed. I think a little bit less, because the boat has less righting moment, a little bit smaller sails, a little bit smaller boat, and no overlapping genoa. So, but downwind, I think it's going to be at least the same speed. I think physically strong, no doubt about it. I think what I've seen is I see some more Olympic sailors coming back into it. In particular, the bigger Olympic sailors.
Fit sailors?
Yeah, so fit and big Olympic sailors back into it. America's Cup is now different, because now America's Cup is so specialized.
Yeah.
Because to sail those catamarans they're doing now, it's a completely different category than what we had in Valencia when we had the monohulls. So it's slightly different sailors there. And I think that the skippers are looking for now individuals who can do multitasking.